Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Whitney with That Whitney Life. In this video, I have my final 3 Halloween DIYs for you. And then we're going to jump into Christmas, which I'm so excited for because I love Christmas. So if you're interested to see how all this turned out, just keep on watching. For this first DIY, I'm taking 5 of the glass candlesticks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just giving them 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint and white linen. And then I'm going to take this, I believe it's Art Deco chalk paint in onyx, and I'm just going to paint this in a checkerboard pattern, but I'm following the design of the candlesticks, if that makes sense. So I'm not doing any lines or anything, and I'm not making this even. I just really love the natural design of these candlesticks, and I use them for so many different things, but I just think they're so pretty. So I wanted to keep that design, but I wanted to make them checkerboard. So that's what I did, and this did take some time. So I just popped on some Netflix. I am currently rewatching Supernatural for like the 4th time, but the new season just came out, like the last half of the new season just came out because they paused for a little bit. So in the meantime, I was just kind of binge watching it again. But I tend to do that. I don't really venture out to new shows very often. I find what I like and I watch it over and over and over and over again. Let me know if anybody else does that, because, I feel like I might just be kind of a weirdo that way, but I do it all the time. I did it with Dexter, Always Sunny. What else did I watch constantly? Oh, Lucifer. I love Lucifer, and they released the first 8 episodes of season 5, and they're going to do another 8 like next year. And I'm like, seriously? So I have to wait all this time? So I just rewatched the stuff. If you have any shows that you do that with, let me know about it. Tell me in the comments, or if you have any show recommendations, that would be awesome too, because I really need to venture out in the Netflix world. I just don't. I don't like The Office. I know. Kill me now. Take me out back and shoot me. I don't like The Office. Parks and Rec, meh. It's all right. Game of Thrones didn't really tickle my fancy either. So I'm kind of a tough nut to crack when it comes to TV shows. I have a very hard time getting into it, and if I do, that's basically what I'm going to watch and stick with. So that's just me, But anyways, back to the DIY. So I'm using a couple different sizes of paintbrush. I did a larger paintbrush just to do a quick coverage of it. And then I went back and with a detail brush, and I just did like the smaller areas with the small brush and kind of touched up the other areas with the detail brush as well. And I went ahead and did this with all 5 of the candlesticks. I did the exact same thing. So that's why I said, get a drink, get some Netflix, because this is gonna take you a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say it took me forever, but it took me, I'd say an hour to do all 5 of them, which isn't that bad, but I'm a pretty fast crafter. So, it's really not that bad. But let those dry. And then once those are all dry, then we're going to make the candlesticks. We're going to make tall candlesticks. So I took E6000 and some hot glue. So E6000 is going to be the permanent bond. And while that needs to dry, you're going to do hot glue, and that will be the temporary bond. And I did try to do this still, so it was in checkerboard pattern. So I didn't line up the black with the black. I lined up the black with the white. So you're going to do 1 with 2 stacked, and then this one is going to have 3 of them stacked. So it's going to be quite tall. But they are sturdy. Like, the great thing about these glass candlesticks is they are sturdy. It's thick glass. They are not going to break on you super easy. And I did wait a little bit too long with the hot glue on this bottom one, so it didn't stick very well. So for the next DIY, I wanted to show you guys these 2 together. So I'm taking these velvet pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to struggle bust this and try to get this freaking velvet off. It's usually not this hard. I don't know what it was about this dang pumpkin. but it took me forever, and I had to pull and wrench to get that off. And then I gave them a coat of the Art Deco chalk paint in Onyx. And then I'm taking this sparkle mesh from the Dollar Tree, and it has orange spider webs printed on it. And basically what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to pinch the end of the fabric. I'm going to put a pretty large dollop of hot glue where the stem goes in the pumpkin, and I'm going to push the fabric into that and wrap it down. And then I'm going to glue it down on the bottom, like underneath the pumpkin. And I'm just going to cut off the excess. Now, it adds a little extra like creative flair to it if you burn your fingers 9 million times with hot glue like I did. I'm not kidding you. Every time I put in the fabric on the inside of the pumpkin, I burn myself. And when I glued it on the bottom too, like it's just, I don't know if it's a crafter's life or if I'm just an idiot. I really don't know, but I didn't learn my lesson. I didn't. I wasn't like, oh, maybe I should use a different tool to do it until like the second pumpkin, when I'm like, I've burned my fingers probably 15, 20 times, and I might need to use maybe some scissors or something to push it down in there. But, I hope that you learn quicker than I do, because I definitely burn my fingers way too many times. Anyways, so just keep gluing and pushing the fabric in, and this is what you should have. And then I'm going to glue the stem in. Now, this was another thing where I'm doing it wrong, so you don't have to. I did not paint the stem before I glued it on. So I would definitely suggest that you paint the stem if you want to paint the stem first, but I put it on and then I painted it black because I'm an idiot. Okay, so now I'm taking hairspray, and I'm giving this a good coat of hairspray because that is glitter and you need to seal it in. But here's how both of them turned out. I absolutely love them. I think they're so cool. I think it's very appropriate for Halloween and kind of like that creepy jester sort of fashion. So I really enjoy these, and they are holding up really well. So this last DIY, I'm taking these carvable pumpkins, and I'm using 3 of them, removing the stems on all of them, and throwing away 2, but keeping 1 stem. Make sure you keep 1 stem. And then I gave them 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in white linen. And then I'm taking that same chalk paint, the Art Deco in Onyx, and I'm following the natural lines of these pumpkins. So these pumpkins are not symmetrical at all, and the amount of like bumps they have on them is not even. So you're going to have a portion of it where you need to leave, maybe one of the bumps undone, or it's just going to look kind of funky, but you're not going to see that part because that's going to be what I'm using this for. It's going to be like, you're not gonna be able to see it. It's going to be all in the back. So I'm going to do 2 of them striped and 1 of them the checkerboard. This is not going to be perfect by any means. I kind of honestly didn't really want it perfect. I liked the idea of, since it's Halloween, like I just kind of wanted it to just kind of look a little beat up, I guess. I don't know how to explain it because they don't look beat up. I don't know. You'll see what I mean. I didn't want them perfect. We'll just say that. So this one, like I said, these are not symmetrical. So if that bothers you, I would not use these pumpkins. I would go ahead and get the velvet pumpkins because those are symmetrical and easier to work with, but these just weren't. And you can tell even by the lines that I drew, that was following the natural lines of these pumpkins. So I don't think they're meant to be perfect since they are carvable pumpkins, but it works. I like them. I like how this turned out. You will see that this was not completely checkerboard because there was a portion of it, since they're not an even amount of like bumps or whatever. And I didn't realize that when I was doing the stripes on it, that this was going to happen. But I had to basically do 2 black squares together, 2 white squares together. And so there is a part of it that does not look the best, but you're not going to see that because that is in the back. It's going to be facing towards a wall. So it's not really that big of a deal. It's just kind of like, see, here it is right here. So in order for it to look, semi-normal, I just did that. And then I took the stem and I painted it black. And I popped that in the one that I thought was more perfect, which was, I think, the first one that I did. And then I took a detail brush and kind of touched up the top of it so it looked like it was connecting underneath the stem. I wasn't worried on the other two with the top or the bottom. Actually, none of them on the bottom I was worried about what it looked like. But the other two, I did not care about what it looked like on the top because I'm going to glue them together. So I'm stacking them. I was trying to find the nicest side of it to be facing out where people could see. So this is what it looks like right now. So I have this chair out front that I like to change the flowers out for every season or holiday. And I tried to put the pumpkin topiary on and it kind of fell apart on the dowel. So I just had to go back and glue it on later. But I love changing this chair out. I call it my blooming chair. And I just redo the flower arrangement for every season or holiday. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm taking these eyeball flowers and some of them have skulls, some of them have spiders, and I'm just clipping them off the pick and putting them in the floral foam wherever I want them. There's like crimson colored ones, there's purple, and then there's black ones. And kind of funny story about this floral arrangement that I have. So we have this frog that it's been hanging out at our house for, a few months now. We gave him a name. His name is Frobert, and he goes in various places. So I kind of had this feeling, we could never find exactly where he was, but I had this feeling that he was living in the flowers. But I wasn't sure. And I really honestly completely forgot because we hadn't heard him in a while. So I'm taking this out of the chair and I turn it upside down and start shaking it to get, the bugs out. And took it inside and I start pulling the flowers out and there is Frobert. And I was like, shoot. So I took him out and I put him in a spot where I know he likes to hang out. But I just kind of got worried because I'm like, what if I went back and wanted to put something in the floral arrangement and I stabbed him? Like, that would be super sad. But Frobert is alive and well. He was unharmed and he is in another spot that he really likes to hang out. So all is good with him. We have a lot of frogs and they show up in random spots. Like Jeremy opened the front door and one fell on his head. There has been one on the bathroom mirror. We just have a lot of frogs out here, but they're super cute. And Frobert's a sweet little frog. They're tree frogs, but he's cute and we just let him hang out. Anyways, I go ahead and fill all this up and I'm putting in the skulls. I wanted to put in the skulls and the flowers in afterwards because I wanted them to be, I didn't want them to be very many and I didn't want them to be in clusters. I wanted them to be dispersed nicely. And then I went ahead after and I just glued the pumpkin back together, but I wanted to put a feather bow around it. I'm doing it after I reattach it onto the chair. But here's how it turned out. I absolutely love it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. God bless.